Be a strategic choice. Be the feast, not the crumbs. There comes a moment when you realize that giving too much of yourself to the wrong people is not generosity. It's self-neglect disguised as love. You begin to see that attention, when scattered, loses its value. And in that moment of clarity, you understand the law that rules every human connection. What is too easily offered is too easily dismissed. Most people spend their lives auditioning for approval, chasing validation, fighting to prove that they are enough. They give their loyalty cheaply and wonder why it's never reciprocated. They crave to be chosen when the real power lies in being the choice. The Stoic path begins the moment you stop begging for the table and start realizing that you are the feast itself. To be the feast is not arrogance, it is alignment. It means to know your worth so deeply that you no longer chase anything that requires you to shrink. It means walking through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that their energy is a currency, and only the wise know how to spend it. Look around. The world is built on hunger. People starve for attention, validation, and love. But very few ever stop to ask, why am I starving? The truth is uncomfortable because hunger is easier than discipline. To desire without boundaries is effortless. To control your desires, to master your impulses, to walk away from what doesn't serve your peace. That is the work of a philosopher, a warrior, an emperor of self. Being a strategic choice means you live deliberately. You understand that not every invitation deserves your presence, not every conflict deserves your response, and not every person deserves access to your peace. You stop moving like prey and start moving like a presence. You stop chasing what flees, and instead, you attract what resonates. When you live this way, people notice not because you seek their attention, but because your stillness becomes rare. Your silence becomes expensive. Your detachment becomes magnetic. You transform from someone who pleads to be seen into someone impossible to ignore. The Stoics understood that true strength is not in how loudly you demand recognition, but in how calmly you can withdraw it. To be a strategic choice is to know that your energy is a throne, not a bargaining chip. You do not beg for a seat. You build the table, and you decide who is worthy to sit beside you. This is not about pride, it's about perspective, about walking through chaos untouched, about knowing that crumbs are for those who never realized they were capable of being the banquet. The more you want to be seen, the less visible you become. The harder you chase, the faster everything runs from you. It's one of the most brutal paradoxes of human nature. Desire exposes need, and need repels respect. When you cling, you declare that something outside of you defines your worth. And in that declaration, you hand over your power. The Stoics taught that attachment distorts perception. When you desire too strongly, you stop observing clearly. You mistake illusions for opportunities, attention for affection, and presence for love. You chase what flickers and ignore what burns steady. Your mind becomes enslaved by what it fears to lose, and your emotions become the chains that hold you there. Desire is a mask. It whispers that fulfillment lives in the hands of others. It makes you forget that peace was never lost. It was only traded for approval. The more you run after something, the more it confirms that you don't have it, that you're not enough without it, and so you shrink. Your light dims. You disappear behind the noise of your own craving. But when you stop chasing, everything changes. Not because the world suddenly favors you, but because you begin to see it through clarity, not hunger. You detach from outcomes and become anchored in your own rhythm. You start to act, not react, to respond, not beg. And that quiet composure radiates more power than any scream for attention ever could. The paradox breaks the moment you understand this truth. Value is not proven by pursuit. What you chase tells the world what you think you lack. What you attract tells the world what you have mastered. And mastery begins with restraint. the ability to want without losing your balance, to desire without losing yourself. When you no longer need to be chosen, you become the one everyone wants to choose. Not because you ask to be seen, but because you stand so still that your presence demands it. That is the essence of Stoic strategy, to transform desire into direction, hunger into discipline, and longing into luminous stillness. Power is not the ability to control others. Power is the ability to control yourself when everything around you tempts you to lose control. The Stoic path is not about suppressing emotion, but about mastering its direction. It is learning when to speak and when silence would strike deeper. It is understanding that your reaction is often the reward your enemy seeks. When you respond with urgency, you lose leverage. When you hold your composure, you hold command. Restraint is not weakness, it's tactical dominance. A warrior who swings at every provocation dies exhausted. But the one who waits, who chooses his strike with precision, wins without struggle. The same applies to the battles of the mind and the heart. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This truth is the foundation of Stoic strategy. The moment you realize that your peace is not negotiable, you stop wasting it on things that cannot feed it. People will test your patience, situations will provoke your pride, but you are not obliged to react to either. Power in restraint is the art of watching chaos without becoming it. It's walking into the storm and knowing that your calm is the lightning within. The modern world worships reaction, speed, noise, validation. The Stoic world worships composure, clarity, stillness, and weight. The man who can pause before he speaks has already conquered 100 invisible wars. To be the feast, you must learn to starve your impulses, starve the need to respond, starve the need to explain, starve the need to prove yourself to those who will never understand. Every time you choose restraint, you sharpen your edge. You remind the world that you are not a participant in its chaos. You are the observer who decides when, where, and how to engage. Those who lack discipline are slaves to circumstance. Those who possess restraint command the room without speaking. In a world of noise, silence becomes the loudest language. The less you react, the more you direct. The less you chase, the more you attract. And the less you need control, the more control you truly have. To reframe your value, you must first confront the illusion that drives most of human suffering, the illusion of lack. The belief that you are incomplete until someone chooses you, validates you, or recognizes your worth. This is the hunger that corrodes the mind. It convinces you that peace exists somewhere outside yourself, hidden in someone's attention or buried in future achievements. But the Stoic understands, abundance is not what you possess. Abundance is what you no longer need. Hunger is a state of dependence. It bends your posture and weakens your choices. You start accepting crumbs, thinking they are gifts. You lower your standards to fit the comfort of others. You trade your authenticity for belonging. And in that trade, you forget that everything you ever sought was never lost. It was only buried beneath the noise of your own longing. Abundance begins when you stop negotiating your worth. When you walk away from what diminishes your peace, not because it offends you, but because it no longer feeds you. It is the quiet decision to choose solitude over superficiality, purpose over popularity, discipline over desire. To live abundantly is not to have more, it is to need less. The modern world mistakes abundance for accumulation, but the Stoic sees through the illusion. What good is a full hand if the heart is empty? What use is attention if it costs your inner stillness? True wealth is to sit in silence, unbothered by who stays or leaves, because you have already built a world within yourself. When you shift from hunger to abundance, your energy changes form. You stop moving with desperation and start moving with gravity. People feel it. They sense the difference between the one who chases and the one who attracts. The hungry man consumes, the abundant man creates. The hungry soul begs for permission, the abundant soul gives direction. This is the turning point in your philosophy, where need transforms into choice and craving into command. You no longer beg for the feast, you are the feast. You sit in your calmness like a throne, not because you seek superiority, but because you finally understand the rarest form of power, to want nothing and yet have everything within reach. Something changes the moment you stop reacting to everything that once demanded your energy. The noise fades, the chaos loses its grip. What was once urgent becomes irrelevant. You begin to move differently, slower, quieter, but with a weight that commands the room without words. This is the rare frequency of a mind that has found alignment. It is not arrogance, it is equilibrium. The transformation is subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye. You wake up one day and realize that you no longer crave explanation. You no longer rush to correct misjudgment. You allow misunderstanding to exist because your peace no longer depends on being understood. That is the mark of the Stoic. Self-command so deep that external turbulence cannot touch it. This state of being is not reached through avoidance. It is built through awareness. You start observing your own thoughts the way an emperor observes his empire, with patience, with discipline, with curiosity. You catch your impulses before they own you. You witness your anger before it shapes your words. You stand before your emotions not as their servant, but as their ruler. The rare frequency is forged in restraint, solitude, and silence. It is the sound of a person who no longer seeks to be everywhere, who no longer fears missing out, who understands that true power is not expansion, it is containment. The Stoics called it ataraxia, the unshakable tranquility of a disciplined soul. To reach it, you must be willing to walk away from the noise, even if that noise comes from within. When you live on this frequency, you start to notice how the world bends differently around you. People speak softer. Time feels slower. Opportunities seem to appear, not because you chase them, but because your clarity draws them near. You stop surviving and begin leading, not others, but yourself. The feast has stopped running. It sits complete, and the world adjusts its pace to yours. This transformation cannot be taught. It must be embodied. The moment you stop trying to prove, perform, or please, you enter a realm few ever reach, the quiet dominion of presence. That is the essence of Stoic mastery, not to control the world, but to become unmovable within it. There comes a point when you no longer compete for attention, affection, or validation. You no longer fight to be noticed, because you finally understood that what is meant for you cannot be taken, and what leaves was never yours to keep. You stop moving like a beggar at the table of life and rise as the host. That is what it means to be the feast. To be the feast is to embody fullness, not of possessions, but of presence. You walk into the world without hunger because you have already fed on discipline, silence, and self-respect. Your calm becomes your crown, your restraint becomes your armor, and your peace becomes the empire you rule quietly without the need to announce your reign. Let others scatter themselves trying to please. Let them rush, chase, and crumble beneath the weight of their own need to be seen. You, however, stand still. You no longer chase applause because you've mastered something rarer, self-approval. You've learned that dignity speaks louder than desire, and silence often carries more authority than 1,000 justifications. The Stoic feast is not about dominance, it's about discernment. It's choosing depth over noise, solitude over distraction, purpose over pleasure. It's knowing that power isn't about how much you can take, it's about how little can disturb you. You no longer eat from every table because you've realized your own table is enough. Those who taste your energy will notice the difference. They will sense the discipline beneath your calm, the fire behind your silence. You have become something rare in an age of excess, composed, deliberate, sovereign. You've built your throne not from conquest, but from control. Not from noise, but from clarity. So when the world tries to pull you into its chaos, remember, you are not crumbs scattered for attention. You are the banquet of self-respect, patience, and power. You are the embodiment of what can't be bought, begged for, or borrowed. Inner peace. Be the feast, be the calm, be the empire within your own mind, because the world does not bow to noise, it bows to presence.